Yo, so I enjoy watching the culture. I'm kind of a culture watcher. And what'll happen is I'll stumble upon different topics, subjects, subcultures. Cue the music. And I'll get obsessed with it. I'll watch everything I can about it, read everything I can about it. And one of the subjects I got obsessed with for a long time was drill music, which is basically like gangster rap music. Except back in the day, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you know, they're rapping, they're talking gangster and everything, right? But somewhere in the 2010s, it started getting really dark and demonic. And what happened was, I think back in the day, there was some real gangsters that did music for sure. 50 Cent. I actually heard that Tupac wasn't gangster, but anyway, these days, these younger kids here getting into this drill music, it's like, that's what they kind of figure out. They snuff out who's lying. And they popularize the rappers that are really doing like the violence. And when I say violence, I mean in America, it goes on everywhere, but in America they got a drill scene, so damn! Imagine I died right there. Alright, we gotta plug this up here before I get back to that. But yeah, check this out. So, America, right? Good old America. United States of America. They got like a drill scene. Chicago. Florida. New York. Cali. All these gangsters, right? And UK's got one, Canada's got one, but anyway, think of all these cities. They got all these gangs and all these gangsters. Real life gangsters. You know, coming out of the real life ghettos, impoverishment and all that, right? And then they latch themselves onto like a rapper. Lil Durk, Young and Ace, Julio Foolio, King Von. And see, like I was about to say, King Von, rest in peace, right? Because he's dead. A lot of these guys are dead or in jail, and that's kind of the moral of the story. But I was about to say, rest in peace, King Von, and you know what? Yeah, rest in peace, King Von, but like he's, you know, he for sure killed people. So this is what I'm getting at. Is these rappers who are gangsters start rapping, and just more and more hopped on board because they were getting paid, because they were getting millions of hits, millions of views and plays, because the kids or whoever, it was adults too, but the people consuming it knew that it was real, and they were calling out the people that wasn't real. And the rappers were calling each other out, and this is what I'm saying, it was breeding this demonic culture of like, I seen a video of it, a short that kind of described it in the most cruel but simple way. They showed like these guys driving by in their car, shooting someone, getting out of their car, standing over them, making sure they're dead. They're driving back to the homies. They're driving back to the crib. They're doing pills on the way. They're also like saying, you know, all these people who are like out here murdering people are like also doing a bunch of pills to like cope with it, because it's like, you know, thou shalt not kill, and you know it's wrong, you know. So you can't be doing that sober and stuff. The sun coming out. So anyway, they're popping pills on the way to the studio. Then they get to the studio and they start rapping like, you know, I killed your homie, man, and you know, that guy you were talking about, you were capping. That wasn't even true, and I got the proof, I got the receipts because of this and that and this and that, and they all make it rhyme, right? But it's like the most brutal thing you could imagine, right? Like, and it just gets encouraged, and it just gets darker and darker, and it turns into like this guy killed that guy, so then like these two people go to their house and like, you know, two young innocent girls catch a stray bullet, and then that really makes people mad. So then, you know, it's gone to the point where these rappers, man, famous rappers are out, they got their daughter, they're at the car wash, and like, you know, they're spotted by their ops, their enemies, their opponents, their adversaries, and they're like real life 2025, like to this day. It just keeps getting worse, but it's been going on for a long time. But they'll hop out the car, man, masks on, and they'll shoot into your car, and I don't know if they see the little girl there, but you know, they kill the little girls. And this is what I mean, it gets demonic, like, because they're on pills and you killed their homie. They've been in the streets forever, you know, they've seen their dad die, they haven't grown up with a father and all this stuff, right? So they start rapping about how, like, yeah, I don't care that your old lady died, you know, she caught a stray, and that's just, it is what it is, you know. They like make fun of you for, you know, go cry at the funeral, son. It gets really, yeah. It gets bad, guys. And so I was watching all these documentaries on it, and I was like, I just couldn't shut it off, man. It's almost like, the other day I'm watching this video on the Roman gladiators, guys. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the movie or whatever, Gladiator. I haven't, but it's like, man, the brutality, killing for sport, bleeding for entertainment, feeding people to the lions, and then they'd starve these lions and these beasts so these cocky gladiators or whatever could like get the easy kills. It was never fair either. I don't know how the movie depicted it, but it was never fair. Like, it was thieves and like chained up, easy kills for the, I don't know, spoiled ass prince or whatever. It was, guys, Rome was insane. And anyway, it's like, it's crazy. It's like modern day, not Roman gladiators, but it's like modern day death for entertainment, you know, all this true crime stuff we watch. But anyway, so I got obsessed with the drill scene, the drill rap scene. And the word drill, like when you want to go do a drive-by shoot and you want to go spin the block because these guys have been, you know, putting pressure on you. They killed your homie. They've been dissing you in the songs. You throw your mask on, you get your boys, you go into the stolen car. It's got to be stolen, no plates or whatever, right? And that's what that's called, the drill. You know, you're driving around looking for them. You're on the drill. So then they'll make fun. You know, it's crazy. Like, people will go on drills and they'll die on the drills. Their friend will accidentally kill them on the drills, and then the song will come out in a few weeks being like, "Your homie died on a drill for friendly fire," and shit like this. Like, it's insane. Cue the piano. So I got obsessed with that, still am, it's crazy, and I would listen to the music and I'd be like, wow, this is, I guess I was just obsessed with it. It was so interesting and fascinating. I was like, what is going on here? And I'd listen to the music and I'd be like, this is some dope ass music. You know, and like the shock of it, I think, of what they're saying was also kind of like, holy. And then I sort of had to shut it off because I was like, what is it doing to me to be listening to this like evil, you know? Kind of the same thing with like Eminem, Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. I used to listen to him when I was young, but it's just like some BS shock jock shit, not really saying much about anything. Violence for the sake of violence, but this is what I'm saying, this drill rap music, they're not lying, and you know they're not lying. So what's that doing to my mind? What's that doing to my heart? What's that doing to my soul, you know? I don't know, but I feel for the people wrapped up in that lifestyle. And I think what I'm kind of getting at is, I watch the culture, I get obsessed. I learn things from each little subculture. And I think that helped shape my my view of the world, you know. And during my little obsession with drill music, and I kind of already knew this, but it kind of helped crystallize it for me. And I did mention this in one of my last videos, like the governments, man, they love the ghettos. And I'll take it one step further. It's like they created them, man. They foster them, they breed them, and they don't want them to go away. And the way, how do I know that? It's like, I don't know. Markcraft 86, I was born in 1986, so like in the 70s, you're bringing in crack cocaine. You're making it illegal, and you're telling people how bad it is and everything, right? And it is, crack, it's trash. Cocaine, trash. Crack cocaine, trash. I'm surprised at how many people in the West are doing that garbage. And it's just because we're lost and we're broken, we're looking for something, and we need stimulants, you know? What was I saying? Whoa, don't take that one out. Something about crack cocaine? Speed, LSD, crack cocaine? No, what was I saying? Crack, don't do drugs, guys. Crack cocaine, okay? I mean, they're bringing it in and they're saying how bad it is, and it is bad, it's trash, but they're bringing it in. It's illegal, they shouldn't do it. They're locking people up for doing it. They know where it's going. It's going to all the ghettos. They're locking them all up. The prisons are private, so they're making a fortune off it. It's like, so let me get this straight. You don't want your citizenry to do drugs. You want a puritanical citizenry or whatever. You want to use, you know, you want to be pure. You want to be virtuous. You don't want to do drugs. You don't want your, you know, you make it illegal. Well, it's a little sus that you're bringing it in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anyway, they love it. And when I say they love it, I don't mean the cops, I don't mean the mayors, I don't mean the politicians. I mean, most people are just regular people, guys. The news people, the cops, the teachers, we're all just regular people trying to get along. When I say they love it, I just mean the... I don't know, imagine having $9 billion in the bank, man. What would you do all day? There's no way your labor is worth not, you know, whatever you're getting paid. You got a lot of time on your hands, so... I think they start messing with the culture, they start messing with society a little bit, but I don't know how people want to get into that right now. Me being on YouTube is just all about me getting on the record and letting this fly, but also like kind of refining this message and seeing where it takes me. And flushing everything out. Crystallizing things. And when I look at this drill music, I see lost people that are being taken advantage of, and the people who should be lifting them up are keeping them down. And instead of like lifting them up, they just want to talk on the media all day about, I don't know, how white people should feel guilty, and they just divide us all day. You know, they're not lifting us up, they're not lifting them up. They got us divided by skin color. We should all just be human. This stuff should be going away, but it's getting worse. What does that tell you? You know? So... I mean, cancer should be going away. The life expectancy should be going up, not down. They just raised the retirement age in France. You know, from like 62 to 65. That should be going down with all these robots. You got all these robots. AI is so great. I mean, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what this channel's about. Me rambling, ADHD. I go from one topic to the other, and just refining the message, seeing where it takes me, and yeah, man, this drill music. It's so demonic. So many of them. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who the hell was that? You guys hear that? You guys hear that? Anyway. Well, there's some snow on here. I guess we're that high up, you know what I'm saying? Got some snow on here. One day I'm going to be explaining Minecraft when I'm playing this game, but that's not for today. For today, we're talking about gangster rap, drill music, and the culture. And yeah, man. What else do I want to say about that? I think that's what I want to say, and then that's what I want to get my point across, is like they make it cool. And that's my ultimate point, guys, is they make it cool. And then we buy it hook, line, and sinker. Right? And kind of another thing that they're making cool, because another kind of subculture that I got obsessed with, and let's take a little nap and get the sun out here. You guys can see better or whatever. Another little subculture I got kind of obsessed with for a long while were all these mass murders, school shooters, all this crazy stuff online. I don't... You know what? Don't even look into it. You can just let me tell you what's going on. It's crazy. Okay? This is why I need to play Minecraft. I need to escape from all this crazy shit. You just come on Minecraft, you enjoy the pixelated nature, doing what you used to do, chopping down trees, gathering resources, building things that you don't gotta pay taxes on, you know? This is why I escaped to Minecraft. But anyway, this pivots into another subculture I want to talk about real quick in this video. The school shooters, the mass shooters. And there's online communities that foster and breed this stuff. I'm blanking on the name. 748 used to be 4chan, 8chan, all these chans. It keeps changing, like that. You know, the FBI, all these guys keep coming down on them because they're crazy, so they keep changing the name. But anyway, what's going on is like, one of the things they do is they try to like talk to girls or young ladies or women on there, and they try to like rizz them up, romance them up. And once you get their trust, once they start liking you, they listen, guys. This is just gonna go where it goes, all right? But I realize this subject matter is pretty dark, but here we go. This video's the subject matter is kind of dark, but whatever. It's like, so these guys, they rizz them up. And then they're like, yeah, you're my online girlfriend now, or whatever. And they're like, okay. And then, he's like, maybe he just gets some pictures of her, okay? You guys can imagine. Get a couple pictures. And then suddenly you think everything's so good, and then those pictures turn into blackmail devices. Cue the music. This is, I don't want to talk about this stuff. God, I wish I could come on here and say everything's all honey and gravy, alright? It ain't, but... So they gain the trust of these poor ladies, and they start blackmailing them, basically, and it gets dark and sadistic. And I'm not going to get into what goes on, but it's very dark and very sadistic. It's very illegal. We're talking, it gets bad, okay? Really bad. And these people are sick, and they're sadists, and they're after power, and I think they enjoy human suffering, and we need to sort of stomp that behavior out. But anyway, this is sort of what I'm getting at, okay, guys? Is there's all these online communities that foster all this stuff, and they talk about... Columbine's a big one. All these losers are inspired by Columbine, right? It's like, you go to school, you're a loser, everyone picks on you, you get no ladies, and then you're like mad at the world, and you're bitter, and you just feel like no one's got your back, Society has let down a lot of people. Look at how many people are out on drugs, or out on the streets. They don't even got houses. You know what I mean? You get addicted to drugs, mess things up with your family, all of a sudden you're on the street. It's crazy how close everyone is to that sort of stuff, kind of figure where I was going with that. That's more me getting colorful with the language, giving you tangents. Let me just try to give you the meat and potatoes, okay? These mass shooters, they get like all lonely. They get part of the male loser epidemic or whatever. It's actually them, whatever, I'll talk about that later, but they get lonely, okay? Everyone gets lonely. It's a male loneliness epidemic, okay? That was kind of a joke. They make it on purpose so that we can't, these males, we can't find the work to impress the ladies, to have the families that we want, you know what I mean? It's like everything's skewed on purpose, guys. It's like they're not dumb enough to have this going down the hill like this. Watch my other videos for that. But anyway, I'm gonna try not to get off the rails here. I'm gonna try to get back to what I was saying. Okay, the meat and potatoes. These school shooters. They're lonely. They just want what everyone else wants. Okay, family, fall in love, culture, people that think they care, all this stuff, right? So they fall through the cracks. And what happens with a lot of these guys, and there's a lot of women in there too, there's a lot of trans people in there too, they're left or right, doesn't matter, both sides. But what happens is, they get on these, I don't know, online communities and they start feeling like they're family or something. And like I was saying in the other video, these guys, they get inspired by all this crazy stuff. They go down the most dark path you can imagine. It's like these drill rappers, you know, it gets dark and they get suicidal, then they start getting homicidal, then they start talking about crazy stuff like how many people are this shooter killed and how many people that shooter killed, and they, like, you know, it's everything's a big dehumanization game, you know. They call it a high score, like these people are sick. Okay, they're sick in the head. And actually a prediction is, if people don't chill out with the political violence, instead of like them going to the schools and trying to like outdo their heroes from Columbine, okay, they're gonna start taking out political targets. And let's not, you know, let's all just start, let's all come together and sing Kumbaya by the fire is what I'm getting at, okay? So anyway, these subcultures of these mass shooters and everything, it's like, they get lonely, they get radicalized online, they pull off these insane shootings and bombings and stabbings, and some of them run people over with cars, you name it. It happens all over the world. It happens a lot in the States with the guns, but it happens all over the world. And what I'm ultimately getting at is, it's just another sign that, like, the culture sucks. It's like non-existent. I guess Canada used to be like Christian culture, right? But we were like freedom of religion and like secular. We weren't really shoving it down your, we weren't really putting it in your face, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, my pickaxe broke. I forgot what I was getting at there. Mass shooters, these guys are crazy, writing manifestos, meeting on insane online forums, dehumanizing people. A lot of these guys are like, when they're on the right, they're all like Nazis and white supremacists and racists and all that stuff, and then when they're on the left, they tend to be like that Minnesota shooter that just shot up, what was it, the Catholic Church or whatever. You know, he was like trans, regretted being trans, didn't really want to reverse being trans because that would be like a defeat, and he sort of felt like he was disappointing people if he did, which is, you know, yeah, something weird going on. Or a lot of, when you're a celebrity and have like 4 trans kids, it might be something you're doing in the house, alright? But yeah, so whatever, I'm not saying you should start taking rights from people blanket statement, which is what people are talking about right now, which is just like a distraction, culture war type thing, which is, this is the main point of what I'm getting at. I think I talked enough about those 2 subcultures that I got obsessed with, and I see a lot of similarities in them. I think you guys can sort of pick up what I'm putting down here, okay? So for the drill rappers, it's all like, it's cool to do drive-by shootings. It's cool to kill for your homies. It's cool to not snitch. You know, you don't cooperate with the cops, you know. They make it cool. All the things that you don't want cool, they make cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these people were just trying to shop, and I pulled my gun out. I upped my blick. And I got their chain. I got their watch. I stole their shit. And everyone's like, yeah, like, you know, they reward them with clicks and everything because that's whatever. So they just glorify all the worst shit, right? Gambling, prostitution, bitches and hoes, holding the money, holding the drugs, all this stupid shit, right? And they love that people latch onto it. Cue the music. With the other subculture, the shooters, I don't know how much it's making cool, or people are just like organically taking advantage of it. Everything's not a conspiracy, but here we are 2025, and you can't get away from the gambling. It's everywhere. You can't get away from the sex. It's everywhere. Everything is sexualized. OnlyFans is like no big deal. Sex work is like, yeah, no big deal. I take my titties out to get myself through nursing school. It's like we're all normalizing this stuff or whatever, right? What was it? Gambling, the pornography, the separation. Like we're so isolated. Like spiritually, we're not there, right? It's just so, in my opinion, it's almost like the wild, wild west. Like we're lost. You know, so it's not that they glorify it, but when these lost kids, you're growing up with pornography this young. Look at the lexicon of the young kids these days. They got gooning and edging in there. It's like you're frickin' 13 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not that they make it cool, but these guys, they're online all day. They're sitting there 12 hours a day. They stop talking to their parents and everyone. They're in these Discord chats talking about trans rights all day. They got furry boyfriends. You know what I mean? They're lost. They're trying to latch onto things. A lot of these people are latching onto this left-wing brainwash, brain rot, Marxist, identity politics, woke bullshit, right? It's like latching onto that. That's like your identity. So I'm not saying we all gotta go back to church. Thou shalt not kill, believe in God, and all this. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we need to do something where we all come together and we're not just all separated working the own thing, because man, these people fall through the cracks and they're picking up guns at an alarming rate. I mean, the culture is clearly broken. So I'm trying to put together the pieces of like how we can fix it, and I just keep seeing, I guess the main point I'm getting across with this video is what I do is I watch the culture and I see the common denominators, and I think I just tied in the drill rap music with the ghettos, which they push on that, you know, African Americans more, and then you even have the school shooter psychos, which it typically tends to be the white kids in the suburbs who, you know, they're lonely and all this shit. They get online and radicalized. So whether you get radicalized because you're in the gangs for survival, because the government don't give a shit, and you're in the jungle, you know, and everyone's got guns, and then it's all about survival, or you're like, you're in society but it's like empty, shallow, not that fulfilling. You're searching. They took spirituality from you, so you know, and then you get radicalized if you get to a certain lonely spot. And then I also want to add one more thing before I get out of here. SSRIs. What are they? Serotonin reuptake inhibitors or whatever. It's like a lot of these guys are on the medication that we're all just trying out, right? And it makes you fidgety, and it makes you suicidal, and the side effects are insane, and they don't really know how the side effects will affect each person, and they do just kind of put you on a pill and then put you on another one, and they do just wait to see what the side effects yield. I'm not too comfortable with all that, so basically, in summation, I don't know, what, we got a broken ass culture in North America who the media has brainwashed into being ashamed of being white and Christian, to the point where if you look at the UK, ooh, sorry chicken, almost, don't tell vegan gains, almost hit that guy. But if you look at the UK right now, okay, you got white Christians living in the UK, and I hate making things about skin color, but I think eventually we'll have to speak in these primal ways, but that's for another day. But yeah, you got the UK right now. You got all these white Christians who have been brainwashed by the TV. Like, if you say anything critical about, I don't know, Muslims, you're an Islamophobe, okay? To the point where you can have like a whole village where like these Muslim refugees are grooming these children, drugging them up so they can like rape them over years, and the police cover it up because they don't want to be you know, Islamophobic. So that's why people are standing up over there, because people are getting raped left, right, and center. So people get raped left, right, and center, then the people stand up being like, let's stop this, and then the media's like, you're racist, and diversity is our strength. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but why did I bring all that up? I mean, this is what I'm saying, guys. Stream of consciousness, it all connects. See, I just go on some tangents where, you know, pretty good tangents. But I forget, like, where exactly I was going. Oh, what's going on in the UK. Anyway, I forget why I brought that up, but it's coming over here to Canada. And these are the sort of topics I think we have to get into. We just don't want this broken ass culture where everyone's on drugs and you don't feel safe, and you're called a racist for being like, you know what, I'm not guilty for being white or whatever, or like I'm called a toxic man because what, coming on the YouTube, throwing on the mic and I'm mansplaining some shit. Like, get out of here. They just made that up to divide the genders. When a man is explaining shit to you, it might sound like he's a know-it-all or whatever, and some of us are, and some of us do come off like an a-hole, but even them, when they're explaining something to you, that means they love you. You know, when a man's explaining something to you, like, that means they love you. That means they care if you're, you know, your car breaks down or whatever. Or whatever they're explaining to you, you know? But we're kind of been... I just feel like everyone kind of does do what the TV says, because we don't really think for ourselves, because I could go off on school, too. You know how it's going off on education last time? Let me end this video on what I was learning about education the other day, alright? School. Kindergarten. School and kindergarten. Sounds a little German. I don't know if they're German words, but apparently over there, the fat kings and queens or whatever, they want their peasants to fight wars, right? So they're like, let me give you a sword, let me give you armor. You're gonna go fight these guys over here because they're, I don't know, they hate you for your freedom or or whatever. And they're like, go on a fight. And, you know, they put down their swords, they put down the armor, they pissed their pants, they wanted their mommy. They ran home. And then the fat catty elites are like, we can't have this. So they're like, we're going to invent school. And we'll get them very young, because you have to indoctrinate them very young. And every single day they're going to pledge their allegiance to Germany or America or whatever. We're going to make them love their country so they'll die for it in the bullshit wars without questioning it. And we'll educate them enough so they can work in our factories so we can be rich. But we won't educate them enough so that they can be entrepreneurs and invent their own factories so that they can be rich. And they got us hook, line, and sinker. But now the adults are waking up basically, and they're finding out all this stuff, and we don't want any of it. And I'm not going to get into it now, but we need to protect the white Christian countries, and I think it starts off as Canada first, please. Then it goes to Canada first, please, and thank you. And when they still ignore you and they still don't say anything, it's Canada first, bitch. And that's just the way it's going. But we're going to be super polite about it. And I just think we need to make things that they've tried to make uncool, cool again. So, being white, cool. Being a man, kind of cool. Being a Christian, kind of cool. And if y'all want to live in the white Christian countries, that kind of means that you think it's cool too. So, Muslim countries are kind of cool, but I don't want to live there. So if you think they're cool, you can go live there. And, you know, I don't really want to live in Africa either. I kind of want to live in Canada, and I kind of want to keep it the way it was. So, we're going to be polite about it, but we need to just make the things that should be cool, cool. And family is cool. Steady jobs are cool. Okay? Clean food is cool. You know what I mean? Not arguing all the time is cool. So being spiritually connected, being connected once a week, we hang out. You know? Even get the religious stuff out of there. We can keep it secular. We just need to literally hang out. It's not... Can't overcomplicate this stuff here, right? But we just gotta make it cool, alright? I'm gonna leave you with this. Luke chapter 5 verse 20. Blessings and woes. Okay, then he looked up at his disciples and said, Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. And I kind of look at that as like, you know, all the losers that picked up the guns, right? All the people that fell through the cracks, right? All the people who feel like alone and everything, right? Guys, I'm trying to have a moment here, reading some scriptures, alright? Keep it down over there. Yeah. Shit's bad now, but it can be better, and it's kind of cool to think that after this life, there's a dope-ass place where we can all hang out called heaven, and we just gotta be good people to get there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Adam Sandler, Billy Madison. You wouldn't think peeing your pants is cool. And, you know, it's not, but if a kid does it, and people may start making fun of them, you can splash some water on you and be like, yo, you guys, this actually is kind of cool. I know you guys don't think it's cool, but it's actually kind of cool. I know they say being white ain't cool and being Christian ain't cool, but it's kind of the coolest, you know? Like, everyone wants to do it, but, you know what I mean? But they'll make you feel guilty about it. So, guys, that's the moral of the story. Alright, pee in your pants. It's cool. I'm a culture watcher. I'm watching the culture, and I'm trying not to judge. I'm just trying to observe, and ultimately I just want everyone to be happy, healthy, and prosperous. Alright, so ronpaul.com, and rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Alright, peace.